call this another human rights issue. You might not be wrong, but hey, let's get into the conversation with Olale Konshudende, who is Permanent Secretary, Office of Drainage Services, Ministry of Environment and Water Resources in Lagos State. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Good morning.
A quick clarification on the advisory given out to Lagosians living in specific areas. What informed that? Can you tell us more about that?
Thank you very much. The advice was particularly targeted at people living in low-lying areas, floodplains, wetlands that are now being inhabited, without the proper arrangements being made for the natural habitat of that place, which is the water. And this particularly along the River Ogun alignment. You know, at this time of the year, periodically, we find out that October is now about the peak of the rainy season. While we've, to manage that, we have some river gauges and along the river alignment within the lagoon to monitor the stage of the river. And we actually equally collaborate with the Ogun River Basin Development Authority to tell us the volume of water that is passing through the Onyo Dam. Because the dam is supposed to, detain storm water from the upland part of Abeokuta. But when the dam capacity is attained, they need to let the excess water pass through.
And they are going to have to pass through certain communities, Alakwere, Agri.
No, it's going to come from Abeokuta through Ifakojaye, Alagbole areas of Lagos. But Lagos is the most downstream of 8 river systems. But Ogun is the one that is of particular interest now, because that is the area where we have habitation at the moment.
Now, the advisory, sorry, Bukola, I'm sorry. The advisory has been put out. Have these people been significantly informed?
Yes. That's the essence of their advice. I mean, the advice is supposed to be to the public, so that everybody will hear and word of mouth.
Do we have local government officers speaking to them, at the various levels so that they won't claim that they don't know? We understand that there are some advisory put out sometime in September, middle of September this year. That was last month. How significantly have people adhered to that advisory put out about a month ago?
Adherence is not until... With the advice is just, we advise is for them to be aware that this might happen because of data that we have at our fingertips. I'll give an example. For this, where we are now, Isheri North area, we have an estate in this area. When the River Ogun gets to a 20-meter stage on our gauge, that is the baseline, that's the flood level. But right now we are at 19.8. So it behaves that we need to, okay, fine, we are getting to that. We might not get there. We might not get, but we can't predict the rainfall event outside Lagos that will flow into Lagos. So that gauge is telling us we're getting there. So people be aware. If you get into Isheri now, you'll see water on their roads already. But before it becomes too impactful, when it's happening, please relocate and let's...
Paint a vivid picture of the scale of, flooding that we're expecting in these areas. There are about 10 or 11 of them. So how devastating will it be? Their living conditions will not be livable.
It will be livable.
Okay.
It will just be an inconvenience. Accessibility will be a problem. Accessibility will be the problem because you have to wade into the flood situation to get to your house from the readings we are getting, because 2022 has actually not been as bad as 2021 or 2020 in October because we're comparing data now. But we're just like, the gauge telling us we're at this level, let's be aware, let's be indicative. And from the data from the dam too, the releases is not comparable to last year.
Speak to the video that is on the screen that you can see right now. This flooding, it's of course amateur video in Aboru. Was there data to predict that this was going to happen? Aboru.
Okay, now, this was about this week. Well, this is not a river flooding. Okay. This is an urban flood. This is actually along the Okwoba alignment that we're presently expanding the capacity. The intensity of that rain within the 2 hours it fell is like a 1 in a 50-year rainfall. I have not seen that kind of rain since I've been in environment, in drainage. Okay. But it happened. But I can tell you within 2 hours of that rainfall, the water had passed.
What informed it? Because the water passed, but then the effects, the consequences on the lives of the people.
Well, I'll always say this. When you can't control the volume of water that will come from the sky. That is beyond any human capacity. And I keep saying, no engineering infrastructure can contain everything God throws at you naturally. What the drainage is supposed to just to be a conveyor system. Once the conveyor is perfect, is flowing, yes, you will have some inconveniences, but it will not stay. That's what Lagos is targeting.
So I'm glad
the conveyor here, was it significant?
Very significant.
But then it still flooded the houses up to
2
almost
hours.
half.
You see, how would I say it now?
The concern here, Mr. Shidende, I'm sure you'll understand, is the people's lives. Bukola here just mentioned the living conditions of people that are definitely affected, you know, things that many people...
Can you compare, why not, Lagos is not peculiar, but can you compare Lagos to other parts that have seen flooding?
We're talking about Lagos now.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
So let's just stick
so
there.
I'm telling you the engineering of it, that you cannot contain rainfall event totally. Because when you talk of intensity, within a short time, if the same volume of rainfall had fallen over 24 hours, we won't see any flooding. Because as it is falling, I'm coming,
okay.
As it is falling, it is flowing out.
Is Aboru along a floodplain?
Well, yes, definitely.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, one of the things that a number of people have asked is, look, if people are building along floodplains, someone definitely gave them approval to do it.
You're assuming.
That's what it would be.
That is not true. People build without approval.
But at the end of the day, the buildings are there. State governments haven't gone there to demolish the buildings, and there are casualties.
Sorry. If government starts demolishing everything in wetland areas, mind you, people develop before governance gets to their area. Every negotiation wants to be a landowner. You go to the wetland, landowner sell land to you, you didn't get approval, you didn't go to the authority to tell you, okay, this is what you're supposed to do. Survival instinct. Right? Now, government asks, okay, now you have put your hard-earned resources together, you've built, I want to take out your property because I want to save your life. Which is better? Demolish your building or periodically telecom is going to flood, get out.
Where does this
that's going
go?
to be, sorry, Ayo, that's going to be
Do you understand?
subject
So it's
to...
a devil and a deep blue sea situation because people are coming to Lagos and building and sprawling all over.
That's going to be subject to another level of investigation if we were to ascertain if indeed those people got
No, they have no approval. I can tell you for a fact they have no approval.
Well,
nobody approved a wetland development in Lagos.
It has to be subject to empirical, survey because
I'm saying it on public media that it is not
We're talking about
possible.
Thousands of houses there. But you said something significant earlier. You said there's no engineering solution to tackle anything that God throws at you. And that brings me to this, concern or this fact of the matter. The River Ogun has tributaries.
Yes.
There's Ogbara, there's Osho, there is Opeki, just to mention.
Definitely. I like your investigation.
Yes, just to mention a few of the tributaries, the Minister of Water Resources said something significant yesterday, that there are tributaries to the River Benue that is receiving the release of water that ought to have been dammed. So isn't there supposed to have been a response over the years to the rising water level being received by these tributaries to the River Ogun, which react following the release of water as well from the Onyo Dam, such that we can check
these tributaries are downstream of Onyo Dam. They are downstream of Onyo Dam. The dam is before these tributaries. So when you say, I was going to say that everything coming into Lagos is not from Ogun River only. There are other contributory catchments that are even downstream of the dam that is coming to Lagos. Lagos is a coastal state, and we receive everything from upland part of our catchment. So, number one, river management is not a state affair. It's a federal affair. That's why you have the River Development Authorities managing the rivers, and they have quite a number of them. OBDA is the one that handles, our southwestern part of the country. So, but that's why we have to interact with them to get information from them. And I'm sure I learned that they actually did a study on the Ogun River on further developments to do along the river alignment in terms of damming or management of this release of this intense rainfall that we're getting right now. So we're expecting that in a short time they'll be able to put in place those infrastructure.
True, river management is a federal government affair.
Yes, please.
But then again, over the years, have state governments prioritized this Has it been a concern such that they are saying we should build other dams to
States cannot build
mitigate?
That's why I said that.
Have they raised it? Have they prioritized it?
Up there, the federal government already had a study.
Has it been a conversation at all at the state
We
level?
have an interaction
because
regularly.
Even though river management is a federal government matter, the impact is felt in states.
That is why we need to collaborate with the federal agency in charge. They tell us what they're doing. We advise.
That's not the answer to the question. Has it been a part of the conversation at
Definitely.
the state level?
If it's not, I wouldn't be giving you information I am giving you, that they have done a study on the necessary interventions they are going to be doing on that river alignment. That's why I'm telling that there's a conversation, and I'm telling you authoritatively that they are working at it.
So what's going to be the outcome? Are there recommendations to the effect that
there is a study that has a recommendation?
Built?
I won't be able to give you the details of their study. All I know is that they have done the study and they have a recommendation of intervention that they will be doing. Okay. So the MD of the River Basin Authority should be in a position to give you the details of what they intend to do on the river.
Okay.
But I'll still say this. The river has its wetland, definitely. So everybody has a role to play. We can't keep doing something negative and expect a third party to solve the problem. If you are going into a wetland, ask for information on how best to develop sustainably in a wetland. I mean, a wetland is easily identifiable. An area you go to all year round stays green. You might not see water there, but once the vegetable is green all year round, that is a wetland.
But one of the questions that one would want to also ask around this, Mr. Shudende, is the consequences are certainly coming if the people do not move. What is the government's plan? Oh,
well, emergency response is actually not my mandate, but I know my colleague at the Lagos State Emergency Management Authority is equally prepared. Like, I mean, the state government has
Speaking of consequences, sorry, Ayo, this is critical because the NIMET has said that more rains are coming. We had that conversation. And it's curious that Lagos, being a coastal state, and some other coastal states have not been affected by the massive impact of the flooding that we've seen in a number of states of the Federation. Though there's been some predictions of some states that will be affected, but is this something that is coming that will be on the scale of Bayelsa?
No,
Lokoja?
Definitely not. Oh, most definitely not. I can tell you that.
How
From
can
the
you be
data
so
we
sure?
have, when you compare, statistics is about data comparison. I told you 2022 has not been near 2021 or 2020 figures from the dam or even rainfall or even our own measuring gauges. But like I said, we're almost there. October is our peak. October is about two-thirds gone. So we're hoping that in the next 10 days, we should be able to weather. But we're just saying, perchance, in case, another 1 in 50-year rainfall happens, like we saw at Okoba, Aboru, like you mentioned, we should be aware. We're just being Boy Scouts here, being prepared.
But, if it happens,
yes,
it will be too late in the day to evacuate people.
No. That's why we gave the early alert. So people should be prepared.
Exactly the point.
Evacuate before it happens.
We were prepared for what we were told. We had awareness. We had information ahead from NIMET, from the Hydrological Agency, that it will happen in a good number of states, more than 200 days of rains, they told us. I'm sure you're aware of that.
We did, yeah.
And then what happened in Bayelsa happened, what happened in a number of other states in the country happened. And we're still reeling in the after effects until now. So that's why I'm asking the question. The communities that have been mentioned in Lagos, in the event that it happens, it will be too late in the day to rescue significantly and avoid loss of lives and property. Yes or no?
No. Can I answer that?
Please.
The essence of the early warning is for you not to caught napping, for you not to caught trapped in that situation.
In the event that people do not move, that's the question that I'm asking.
That is taking it to you're now putting before me a response that shouldn't be mine, because I have told you, sir, you have this risk facing you. Please evacuate. Commonsensical, I expect you to heed my warning. not to now say, I don't care, I'll stay. When I'm there, you come and rescue me. I mean, are we having a conversation here?
Like how many people...
So, I mean, the idea of governance is to bring to the public domain, that's why I'm here, that this is a possibility. Let's have a handshake. I've played my part. Please respond accordingly. If it doesn't happen, everybody's fine. We go back.
How have people responded to that? Historically.
That's why we're making the noise. We're talking about it. We should, like I said before we came on, on camera, that lifestyle change is a requirement.
Just a
we need
very,
to talk
very
and
quick
listen
one.
to government.
Just a very, very quick one, Mr. Shudainde. Like, how many people are likely to be affected in the event? About what's the average population that you can guess we might be looking at here?
Probably like 100,000, 200,000.
In all of those communities?
Yes. They're actually just low-lying areas along the River Ogo. So we're not expecting a massive Bayelsa-like or Kogi-like situation.
We're not also expecting this to happen, but in the
we're not expecting. We're just saying that let us be prepared.
Olaliko Shudainde, Permanent Secretary, Office of Drainage Services, Ministry of Environment and Water Resources, Lagos State. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Considerations this morning.
Thank you.
Yeah.